So today I'm going to answer 5 common questions about crown molding. And one is, what does a spring angle mean? Okay, so a spring angle is made up of 2 numbers. And I'm going to give an example. 45, 45 is a common spring angle. 5238 is another common spring angle. So this is what a spring angle is, and what are those 2 numbers representing? So I'm going to show that now. Now, if it's a 45-45 spring angle like we have here, that means the crown is going to be like this, 45 degrees. It's going to be sprung off the wall 45 degrees. So you'll have this is the ceiling and this is the wall. Between the back side of the crown and the ceiling, you're going to have 45 degrees, like that. And between the back side of the bottom of the crown to the wall will also be 45 degrees. We have up here, just for reference, this is 90 degrees. So the 2 45s equal 90 in this case, just so that you know what you're viewing here. This is just a true corner. So the 45, the first number, is going to refer to this top part of the crown. The second number refers to the degrees on the bottom part of the crown. So again, it's sprung off the wall at 45 degrees. Okay, so a 5238 is going to be sprung off at a different degree. Okay, we're going to get into the 5238 next, but let's finish the 45 spring angle. So why are there sometimes other numbers in degrees located on the schematic? So a lot of times you'll see on here, this is a 45 spring angle. You'll see down here, you can see 135 degrees, and you'll also see it up here. Not always, but on some schematics you'll see it. So anytime you see 135, it's going to mean that it's a 45 spring angle. Now, how do I know that's what that means? Well, what you do is you take 180 degrees and you subtract the 45 from it. And that will give you 135. And that's 135. As you can see, it's the same that they indicated on this schematic. So 135, to verify that it means 45, just subtract it from 180 degrees, which is a straight line. Okay, so when you miter this and when you bevel this, you're going to need to know the spring angle. In this case, it's the 45. Why do you need to know the spring angle? Well, because when you lay the material down and you cut this material on the flat, you're going to need to know what to miter it and bevel it at. So to miter this, you're going to set this, you're going to set the chop saw or table saw to 35.3 degrees. And to set the bevel, you're going to set that to 30 degrees. And that's these two angles are the settings required for this spring angle. Okay, so that's how that works. Now let's get into, I'm going to draw out the 52/38 spring angle and show you what that means. So a 52/38 spring angle, what we're going to do first is I'm going to draw a wall and a ceiling. And I'm going to take my bevel gauge. I set this to 52 degrees. And I'm going to set it on here to show where 52 degrees is. I'll show how I got that 52 degrees in a minute. So here, that's what a 52/38 spring angle looks like. Now, if you want to see what that looks like in comparison to a 45/45, this is what the comparison would be. So it would look a lot like this. This would be the 45, and this is the 52. You can see that this projects into the room at the bottom of the crown. It's sprung to the bottom. It's sprung out more. Up here, we're going to have 52 degrees in here, and at the bottom we'll have 38 degrees. One thing about this is larger ceilings, when you're standing in the room and looking up, it's easier to see the details versus the 45, which is back here. You would have to get a lot closer to be able to see practically underneath it, to be able to see the detail. So the 45/45 would be this green, would be here. Just to show that. We're working on the 52/38, which is, I'll highlight that in black, a little bit thicker. So the 52/38 is here. And that's the back side of the crown. So you would have something like this. Come up. And something like this. So the 45/45 spring angle is a lot different than the 52/38. Now, what does the 52 mean? Well, that's 52 degrees. So if I take my square, my speed square, and I put the bevel gauge on that, put it at 0 where it says pivot, opposite that, these are the degrees, and then it'll hit 52 degrees. So there's 45, 50, 50, 51, 52. Let's just recalibrate that a pinch. 50, 52. Okay, so that's set to 52 degrees. And that's what we have here, 52 degrees. And why that's important is because you need to know what type of spring angle you have in order to know what to set the miter and the bevel. So this is a 52/38 spring angle. And again, a lot of times you'll see 128 degrees here, and at the bottom of the crown you'll see 142 degrees pointing into here, and again pointing into here. So what the 128 means is, well, if you take 180 degrees and subtract 52 degrees, which is this here, it will give you the 128. So anytime you see that 128, it means you have the 52-38 crown spring angle. Down here, 142, I could do the same thing. 180 minus 38. So 180 is a straight line minus 38 degrees. It's going to give me 142, which is the same as this here. So this is, you would need to know this because you're going to set the miter, in this case, the proper setting to cut this crown molding. You would set the miter at 31.6, and then the bevel you would set at 33.9. Now, 31.6 and 33.9 are usually indicated on a lot of the chop saws or miter saws. That's not the case with the 45-45 spring angle setting you would need. The setting for the 45 spring angle is not usually marked on there. So what I did is I went ahead and marked my machine. So but with this one, it's also a popular crown. It's marked on the machine. So in my other video that I talked about crown molding and cutting it on the flat, I explained a little bit about that too. But what we have here so far is the 45-45 with the miter and bevel information, what the two numbers mean. Same with the 52-38, what the numbers mean. And something else that's interesting about this, if you look at this miter saw angle chart. So if we look at the miter saw angle chart and we look at the 52, so we look at 52 at the actual angle and we go across and we come over to the miter saw angle, it'll be 38. So you can see that that's the two numbers we have here. We have 52 and 38. So again, 52 is here. Opposite that is 38. 52 on the actual is the actual angle. And then you set the miter saw to 38 degrees. So having a protractor will give you a lot of the information you need as well. And I have some more videos on how to bisect angles and things like that for doing trim work, casings and different things like that, and how to bisect really any angle for any woodworking. But this video today, I wanted to just highlight what the principles are with crown molding and spring angles. So thanks for watching. Hope that helped.